Welcome to Perspective by Cinemate, an on-topic episode. I'm Simon.
And I'm Greg.
Together we are Cinemate Films, two Scottish-based wedding filmmakers, and we love nothing more than drinking beer, non-alcoholic beer, and talking shop with others in the wedding industry. This is a super, like, let's do a podcast episode in 15 minutes. We'll send you the link episode to get the news out there of online conference.
Yeah.
Greg, who are we speaking to today?
We are talking to Micaela. We've been getting a bunch of targeted posts, I think, and seen this in our feed a wee bit. Both signed up to join the Set for Success. And we thought, you know what? Micaela's been a guest before. Let's get her on, have a chat, find out more about this. So, hello. How are you doing?
Hello.
Hi. It's so nice to chat to you guys. It feels like so much has changed since the last time we spoke.
Yes. So off air, we were just talking about that. It was around about COVID time, or is it just after COVID time that we last had you on the podcast? So yeah. It's a fair amount of time.
Yeah, and it's always like these sorts of things that make you realize like how much your life has changed. And like now I have twin toddlers. I live in Scotland instead of London.
Yeah.
I feel like I ignored my business. Now I'm focusing back on my business again. It's kind of like every sort of end of the year you sort of take stock, or it's like around your birthday and you kind of go like, whoa, life does not look the same.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully it looks better now for you.
I think so. Oh, 100%. Like, I mean, no regrets on Scotland. Twins were a surprise, but like no regrets on them. We were not expecting our embryo to split. That was not part of the plan. But yeah, no regrets, and kind of, I think life looks different, but I also, this is kind of, I mean, I'm sort of segueing myself into the summit, but this is kind of, I think the wedding industry looks different from the last time we spoke. I think a lot of people's lives look different.
Yeah.
And I was kind of coming back to all of this after a few years of running other businesses and being pregnant and maternity leave and now living here and going like, what? Like, what's happening in the industry? Like, who do I learn from? What should I be focusing on? How do I have a successful 2025? Like, I'm sort of scrambling. A lot of us are scrambling.
Yeah.
And then, you know, in all honesty, the ADHD took over. And then within a few, you know, there was a logo. And then I was reaching out to people and shooting my shot with a lot of people who all said yes. And all of a sudden now there's an online event. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously, I mean, that sounds like so much in a very quick amount of time. How long has this actually taken you to put together?
I reached out to people. I remember sending out my first emails to people. So there was lots before that. I had to relaunch my education website and all of that. Well, I can tell you that I was designing the logo around my kid's first birthday when I was not with them because I was shooting a wedding in Surrey. That was like October. So it was kind of that.
Okay. Wow.
But I remember reaching out to speakers ahead of my husband's Christmas party dinner for local people who work up here. And that would have been like, what, middle December? Beginning of December? So yes, it has been a lot of work with very limited childcare. And I'm still not sure if I regret it or not. I can't tell you. You have to ask me in like 2 weeks' time.
Okay, I will remember to do that.
As you say, a lot of people, January is time to stop, reflect on the previous year and plan for the year ahead. So what is the overall aim for this summit?
Yeah, very good question. So I kind of knew I wanted to learn from people. I knew that was, I mean, honestly, I could have gone to an event. I'm not sure why I decided to put one on, but if you know me, it tracks. But I kind of thought like, oh, there's so much I want to learn, but what I really need is like more the business side, the marketing side, the actual like, how can I have a great year? So I've sort of I've put aside everything I want to learn in terms of shooting. That might come later. I'm not sure yet if I'll do another one that's focused more on shooting. But this is really kind of split into three things. So it's about making more money. And I know that sounds like a lot, but in different ways. So whether it's that you want to sell more albums or you want to, and obviously we're speaking to videographers here, but like sell more albums or increase how much value is in your package. Like there's lots of different ways that you can make more money, budgeting better, all of that. Day one, make more money. Day two, book more weddings. So what are people doing there in terms of marketing? So we've got Instagram, SEO, we've got Adam Lowndes talking about TikTok, I'm talking about ads. And then day three it's kind of titled, work less, but it's also around things. We've got people like Lisa Devlin talking about like 25 years. Like, how do you have a career in this industry for 25 years? We've got people talking about workflow, using ChatGPT. So it's kind of basically make more money, book more weddings, and work less. And the idea, you can attend for free on those days. You've got access to the talks for 24 hours on those days. And the idea is that you take bits and pieces. It should be like an information buffet. I don't want people to be like, I have to do everything. In all honesty, I'm probably not going to be recording myself and putting it on TikTok. But I know that Adam will teach me how to take better behind the scenes. That's something that I want to incorporate. I might not want to put it on TikTok, but the idea is that you sort of take bits and pieces and you can watch that for 24 hours and just kind of get yourself set for success. That's why it's called that. Just give yourself a chance and see what you might want to change this year.
Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah.
I'm hungry. You hungry, Greg? To go to the buffet and peck on all these deliciousness things? So you've alluded to some of the names who are going to be there. Who else? Like, who's your lineup?
So, my goodness. We've got people. So Faye Cornhill, who teaches a lot of wedding creatives in the UK. We have Sarah Dalrymple, who's a sales specialist, but she also used to be a wedding photographer, which is great. We've got Mike Garrard, who runs Henley Albums. We've got Natalie Webster, who does a lot around business and mindset. Corey Potter from Fuel, I can never say that right, Fuel Your Photos, who is like the SEO dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've mentioned Adam Lowndes. We've got Melissa Love, who, again, website queen. Ellie, and I feel like I can't miss anybody out. I feel like I'm at the Oscars.
It's a huge lineup.
It's a really good lineup. Yeah. So there's Ellie Kime, who's a copywriter. We've got Sam Hurd, who I've followed for years and years and years, which I was really thrilled about. Lisa Devlin, like I mentioned, Martin Chung. If you are listening and you are a videographer or a photographer, Martin Chung edits and delivers galleries within 3 weeks. I literally last night as I was editing, I was like, should I pause and watch his presentation now before I upload it? And then, we've got Corey Ma, Lucy Millett, and Carl Goldie. And that's all the stuff that's free. And then we can chat a little bit later about the upgrade. And there's some more people that I've spoken to in the upgrade that, again, are just people whose brains I wanted to pick, if I'm honest.
Yeah. And you say that's free. So
that's free.
Why did you go down the lines of a free event?
Yeah, I think the reason I want it to be free is I wanted it to be a couple of reasons. And I'll be very honest. I wanted it to be accessible. I wanted it to be a no-brainer for people to sign up. It's an exercise in me kind of saying, hey, I'm out here again. I really enjoyed educating people, used to teach ads and things like that. I want to kind of do that again, but you probably don't know who I am. So hey, here I am. But at the same time, this is kind of why we have all these speakers who are being so generous. They're also kind of saying hey, I'm out here. This is what I teach. Do you want to know about me? So it's very much like an exercise in visibility, I think, for the people who are speaking. But I think as well, there is something about a lot of us are struggling, whether that is financially, whether that's just money mindset. So some of us will feel broke, but we aren't broke. You know what I mean? There's that kind of nervousness, that sort of anxiety. And so I think by making it free, it felt accessible for everybody. It is only free for 24 hours though. So there is that. Obviously, loads of work, time, effort has gone into it, and there's a lot of value. So again, if you want to upgrade, again, those are relatively affordable options. And I think the idea of giving people more choice. So I'm trying to do that more in my wedding photography business. It's giving couples more options. And I kind of wanted to do the same thing here. So cool. If people just want the talks and they kind of want more time or they're not available, that's $47. I did it in dollars just so the Americans wouldn't have to convert. So it's 38 quid. Yeah, and then if you want that plus more stuff, then it's about £80. So it's, again, relatively accessible because I think that just made me feel better, giving people options that weren't kind of paralyzing in terms of making a decision.
Yeah. If we wanted to encourage people to upgrade, what do they get?
Gosh, so if they do, let's say the mini upgrade, the sort of extended access pass, they will get a year's access to the videos and a workbook with summaries. So those are all the presentation videos. So essentially, you're not restricted by those 3 days. So you'll get that and you'll get a workbook. And the reason there's a workbook is workbook is a strong word. You don't have to do any work, but it's a summary. Like I might not want to sit through half an hour of someone's presentation, but I might just want to know the key takeaways. So that's going to have like all the key takeaways and like any action steps you might want to take after listening to or reading about that person. Then there's like the upgrade, which again, just like this whole summit, I was like, what do I want? Like, what? And this is kind of, it's been almost selfish because I'm like, who do I want to talk to? What do I want? So first off, you get, 12-month access to the presentations. You get like 12-month access to all of the stuff that I'm going to mention. So you've got those, you've got the workbook as well. And then you've got like a podcast version of everything. So if you want to listen on the go, you'll have like a private podcast feed with all the presentations and all the interviews.
Amazing.
Then there's like a massive goodie bag with lots of different stuff from the speakers, which you've got access to. So there are workbooks, there are downloads, there are Notion boards. There's a whole bunch of stuff there. A lot of it is like super, super valuable. And I might hate myself for doing this, but I'm also offering like weekly co-working sessions for a year because I need them. So I was like, well, let's all meet up on a Tuesday and get some shit done. Like, let's do that. So there's that.
So what is that? You're online.
I'm just going to be on Zoom for about an hour. I might do it twice a day, depending on how it goes with Americans versus UK. But on Tuesdays, an hour-ish, we'll all go online, with people with ADHD, of which I am one. It's kind of called mirroring. Like,
So, got you. Yeah.
So you'll kind of like get something done. And I think for that 1 hour, I quite like to time myself. Again, it's a very ADHD thing to be like, what can I do in like the next 45 minutes? Mm-hmm. So there'll be that. But the bit that was really like me scratching my itch was the interview series that I've added in there. So there's one called Behind the Business where I've spoken to some of the speakers about like, what money are you making? What are you charging? How are you doing this particular thing? And like, what can and I've been super honest, being like, I'm not visible on Instagram. What do I need to get over? Like, I've asked them questions that I think a lot of people will be struggling with.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then the other two interview series, there's the How I Got Here, which again is just me being a nosy Parker, but these are more like case study interviews. Mm-hmm. So I've chatted to like Ollie and Steph, who have built an insanely profitable, comfortably financial elopement business. There's Lou Robb, who's an Edinburgh photographer, who's gone from like 0 to 107 bookings, not even bookings, weddings in 2 years. There's Scarlett Cook, who talks about how she's kind of blown up on TikTok. So all of these interviews with people to kind of really get an insight into what did they do and how did they build their business. Mm-hmm. And then the other like sort of bonus interview series I called the Photography Expansion Pack, because I think there are a lot of us, whether we're photographers or videographers, who want to do stuff outside of weddings. And I think what I've learned from most of the people that I've spoken to is how varied a lot of people's jobs are. I had this assumption in my head that everyone was doing like 30 to 60 weddings a year and that's how they were paying themselves. But no, people have very varied ways of making money. And I've spoken to people who are doing anywhere from 3 weddings to 60. It's very, very different. So if anyone is kind of like industry niche curious, I spoke to a bunch of people. So we've got corporate and headshot photography. Like, how do you go from weddings into that? Do you need any extra gear? How does it change in terms of talking to clients and workflow and deliverables and pricing? Like, what's different? If I wanted to go into this line of photography, what do I need to know? And the same will apply for videography as well. So we've done that. We've done travel and editorial photography, hospitality, brand, newborn, I can't remember now, boudoir. So lots of different things that people might want to be like curious about and just want to know, like, if I was to explore this year, how would I do it? Like, who should I learn from? What do I need to change about the way that I work? Do I need to change anything? Can I start? How do I start? That's kind of the other bit. So like, again, it's quite an intense buffet. It's a good, like, there's variety,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot to keep you going for at least a year, if not more. But have we mentioned the date of when the online part of it is?
No.
That's a very good point.
That's terrible.
Someone's like listening to this next year. So it's the 10th to the 12th of February. So Monday to Wednesday, 10th to the 12th. They'll be available for 24-ish hours to allow for a little bit of time difference. But they will kind of be, presentations will be emailed to you that day. They're all pre-recorded. I suppose that's also important to say. So they're all been pre-recorded. So you're not waiting for someone to join on Zoom. You're not waiting for like a particular talk at 11 a.m. That was just, did not sound like the kind of event I wanted to run. So essentially you can wake up in the morning, you can see what presentations are available that day. You can pick and choose and you can watch them. And then, you can always upgrade if you can't make those times, or you just want to be able to rewatch stuff, watch stuff back.
Yeah. With the upgrades, are they like, do you have to upgrade within a certain time of like the 10th of February, or is that going to be online to purchase later on?
So another good question, because what I've kind of done is this is when I start to sound like a shopping network salesperson. If you upgrade now, but they are kind of timed sort of, I don't know, timed stages for you to upgrade to kind of encourage people to decide if it's something they want. So if you upgrade before the summit starts, so between now and let's say midnight on Sunday, you can get them for $47 and $97 respectively. Then during the summit, they're going to go up to $67 and $157. So on that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So it will go up. And then basically after the summit, they will be available for a while, but it'll be like 107 and 207. I don't know why they all end in 7. That's just what people do in this online industry. I'm leaning into it. But so there's kind of like there's tiered stages, because the idea is I do want people to sort of commit. And I also, you kind of do have to make a little bit of a little push. Like, do you want this? Do you not want this? Yes, no, maybe.
Yeah,
definitely.
Absolutely. Well, I'm very excited about this. I actually came in today and I said to Greg, "Oh, by the way, I've bought you tickets to this free online course I saw because Lisa." So, do you remember Micaela? And she's like, "Oh, I did that. What was it? Weeks
I signed
ago?
Up last week.
I signed up last week." I was like, "Oh, well, I did it for us both again."
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah, I can see when you sign up. I've got it like set up, which is, if I'm pitching, it's something you can learn in my awesome automation course, which is part of the upgrade. But I have it all like automated through Zapier and stuff to get these notifications when people sign up. It's really helpful because you can sort of see these trends of like, oh, lots of people are signing up. Has it been posted somewhere? Has someone sent out an email? And so I did see your names come through, and then I got really confused because it wasn't showing up in one place. So I actually went on this big deep dive.
I'm so sorry.
Greg with 2 G's on all the different platforms to try and figure out, because it wasn't showing that you'd come through. It was very confusing. And then this morning I saw you sign up again. But to be fair, I think it'll only send you one set of emails, so you're all right.
I think it has.
It has.
Because I said to Simon, I was like, I've not seen your welcome email come in yet. So we're not getting double the content.
But we are upgrading.
I think we will. Yeah.
So it's definitely on our books.
I mean, there's so much there that it's almost a no-brainer.
I know.
Yeah.
Like seriously.
Well, and the thing as well is I've kind of made sure, I mean, if you guys sort of, I can't remember if you've ever done, you might not have done the course, but when I did do like my Facebook and Instagram ads course, which will have a revamp this year, but it was called the No Fluff course, because this is pre-ADHD diagnosis, but I don't want the fluff. I want something practical. I want something tangible. I want to know, how do I do the thing? What can I do tomorrow to make it happen? So there is very, very little like mindset, or all you have to do is bump up your prices to like 10 grand and you can shoot a wedding in Tuscany. Like, that's not helpful to me. Like, it's not helpful. What do you want me to do specifically? So all of the information, all of the kind of, whether it's the free information, the interviews, the things that I've asked of people, it's all very, very practical and non-fluffy. So the goal is that literally, if you can do like 3 things, if you can change 3 things in your business, that's like worth $100.
Yeah.
And like, you
easy.
don't need to, And again, if you don't want to listen to all the content, you can kind of go through, like the workbook as well and find those little bits. And if you want more context around why someone's charging something or why they've, said you should do it this way, then you can go listen to the interview. But the idea is that you should be able to just, the buffet. That's really what I want, Do you want a little bit of sushi from the buffet? Do you want Chinese? Do you just want like a plain bread roll? I don't know. I don't know what you're into.
A big steak? Got steak?
Yeah.
Steak on the menu? Great. Amazing. So, yes, you've heard it here, people. Definitely, I mean, if you're sensible, you will go and buy your tickets because they're free. It's free.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, what a whirlwind of an episode. We'll put this out as quick as we can, and it'll just live online for forever. But it won't be relevant to people who are in the future, you know?
No, but I would say that there's a real chance I'm probably going to do this again. There's a real chance. I mean, I don't think I've announced it anywhere else, but there is a strong-ish possibility that I might do set for season, which again is about like shooting, client communication, editing, marketing yourself during wedding season. I think that's probably what I would also want ahead of the season.
Yeah.
So I would say if you are listening to this late, maybe just like come into the world, into the general get it together world, and there should be plenty of other stuff that's coming up. And technically you could always buy it. It'll just be a bit more expensive. But
yeah,
this is my invitation to come in and hang out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
yeah, absolutely.
In terms of check out the Get It Together world and come and hang out, what is the website? Where can people find information?
Okay. So it's www.get-it-together.co.uk. And then if you want to do the summit, it's /summit.
Cool.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. And if you're there, well, we wouldn't actually see you there, but we'll be there in spirit. We will be there.
Well, there's a Facebook group, isn't there?
Yes. There's a Facebook group as well. So yeah, we'll kind of see people on the internet.
Virtually
on the
in there.
Yeah.
Yes, wonderful. Well, cannot wait. Thank you for making that 15 minutes. We'll just go online and talk about this very quickly.
It's all right.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Great.
Where can people find you and your work? Because obviously we haven't talked about you and your work for a bit.
Yeah, well, I'm now in Scotland, so I want to, connect more with people who are up here. Because before, everyone felt so far away, but now,
You're
I feel so
close.
far. I know, but I feel far away from everything else. So yes, so I'm now a Scottish/Edinburgh-based wedding photographer, and you can find me at Micaela, no H, at Micaela Karina Photography on Instagram and pretty much everywhere else.
Very cool. Yes, and like I said, Micaela's already been a podcast guest. Early days. What episode
early
was
days.
It? I saw it. You had a link to it on your website.
Do. Very early days. I want to say like one of the first, maybe like the 12th one you did, if that.
Oh, okay. I've got episode 48.
Oh, never mind.
Which? No, that's still early. We are well past.
There's the old branding as well.
It's the old branding. Great. So definitely go and check that out. People can find us at perspectivebycinemate.com or Instagram at perspectivebycinemate. Please hit follow, like, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. We really do appreciate it. And if you have loved that conversation, great. You should have. It was amazing and quick. However, we'll see you the next time. We'll see you next time. We'll see. What's the line?
In the meantime,
enjoy your life.